Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gotta Get Running. I'm Phil Hargis. Last time, Chris Farley brought you an exciting interview with Jeff Galloway, the run, walk, run method. And now, unfortunately, I'm back. So Chris is stuck with me for an entire show. Chris, welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you, Phil. Well, good to have you back. I was, kind of going on my own last time, and it was a struggle at times. So I'm glad to have you alongside today.
Come on, man. You're a seasoned veteran of this stuff, just like you are a seasoned veteran with the marathon stuff. You know, it's now the middle of June here, and marathon season is in full effect. You got anything exciting coming up this fall or this summer?
I do. You know, I'm probably going to run. I usually run Marine Corps, so I'll probably run Marine Corps, and I'm looking at Toronto, maybe middle of October as well. So
taking off to the Great White North. Last fall, you had the opportunity to take off a little bit north of here in Washington D.C.
That's right.
To the Philadelphia Marathon. You had a great running experience up there. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll welcome our next guest.
I did. Yeah, we're really excited to have the race director of the Philadelphia Marathon, which I ran last year. Had a great experience. Ran my fastest time in probably the last 5 years there. It's a great course, a great environment, great support from the city, and had a wonderful experience I'm really excited to talk about today.
And when you're all done with the race, you get a steak and cheese. There's nothing better than going out and getting one of those when you're up in Philadelphia. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Melanie Johnson. She's the executive director for the Philadelphia Marathon. Melanie, thank you for joining us on Gotta Get Running, and welcome to the program.
Thanks, Phil. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, Melanie, thanks for joining us. This is Chris. I wanted to ask you kind of about your background and give us what your title is with the city.
I have a couple of titles. I'm the city representative for the city of Philadelphia, and I'm also the executive director for the Philadelphia Marathon.
Which, so it's a little bit of a different, which I found very interesting, just a little bit of a different dynamic for her being a race director, being a city employee, where most race directors come from more of a running background. Melanie, you come from more of a working with the city, and tell us how you got into directing the marathon.
Well, it was part of my job. I was appointed as city representative. My background is public relations and marketing. I did the campaigning for the mayor as his communications director.
Okay.
And when he was elected as mayor, he appoints people to different positions.
Right.
My job as city representative is basically the marketing, promotion, and branding for the city of Philadelphia. It also includes international protocol, documents, and gifts from the city of Philadelphia, special events, promoting the city of Philadelphia, which the Philadelphia Marathon comes under, which means that as a city representative, I'm automatically the executive director for the Philadelphia Marathon. So that's how that happened.
Well, I had a great experience, and how did you know how to put on a marathon and deliver that great experience like I had out there last year?
Well, it's funny that you asked. When I came in 2008, I first went to Running USA's conference.
Were you a runner beforehand?
I was not. I used to run in college, but that's as much as running as I did. And it wasn't endurance running, it was sprinting.
Okay.
And so I really didn't know much about marathons except what I would see on TV during the Olympics. Pretty much it. And what I would see in Philadelphia when the marathon ran here. But I knew nothing about marathons. What I did know about was marketing. What I did know about was promotions and public relations. So I started learning about actual operations of a marathon by that first year going to every single race that I possibly could, talked to every single person who ran a marathon as a runner, but as someone in the administrative end. I talked to a lot of different people who had small marathons, and I talked to Art Yasso, who I call the godfather of running, and he's become a good friend, and he helped me understand, I guess, the mindset of a marathoner. So I took all of that information, looked at what Philadelphia had to offer, and how do we grow this and still maintain what I think the marathon is for Philadelphia, which is a promotional aspect to promote the city of Philadelphia. And that's what I did. I took all of that information. I had great people who were already working on the marathon because they had been here before I got here. and we tightened up some areas. We started getting feedback from runners so that I could see, what do you like about our marathon and what's wrong that you don't like about our marathon? And we started answering those questions at the same time that we started promoting it. At the same time, I went cross-country to different expos and started, putting up stuff in Philadelphia. We started getting some incredibly, really tight promotional things. Like last year was pushed through. The first year that I was here, we had a really good campaign called Kick Asphalt. And we used that. And, you draw people in. You start providing them with the things that they want. There's never enough porta potties in the marathon.
Right. Right.
And there never is going to be. But
right.
That is the worst thing that people can say now about the Philadelphia Marathon. I'm happy. So I just had to learn.
Absolutely. Can you tell me, under your direction, how much this race has grown? How many runners now?
When I came in 2008 and 2007, I think it was 16,000. We hit over 25 last year.
Wow. That is awesome. And this race is now open. Unlike a lot of other marathons that are closed out, you guys are open, and people in D.C. and everywhere can still sign up. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're never really closed. We close out when we hit our goal number. But because we have a lot of charities part of our race, there's always a way to get into the Philadelphia Marathon.
That's great.
You just have to be a little creative.
And one of our local charities here is called Back on My Feet. They actually got started up there in Philadelphia. And I know for a time at least, I'm not sure about this year, that they've been involved with the Philadelphia Marathon. Why don't you take a few minutes here and tell us a little bit about some of the other charities that you work with and how you guys get back to the community?
Well, Back to My Feet is still very much a part of the Philadelphia Marathon. And they're really a great, great organization that we like. Basically, as you know, if you're familiar, because you're in the Washington area, they're there now. They've launched there, and it's growing tremendously. And for those who don't know what Back to My Feet is, it's a group that uses running to teach work and life skills to individuals who are living in homeless shelters so they can get out of homeless shelters. We also have a program called Students Run Philly Style, which is basically the same thing that Back to My Feet does. They give you discipline and life skills and teach you work ethic, but students in high school, so that they learn through training what kind of skills, discipline they can bring to their life. And so many of them move on to college, which is the ultimate goal, to get these kids through high school and show them some of the opportunities that running can bring, and how you can take what you learn in running and apply it to your life. So that's one of our favorite charities, Back to My Feet and Students Run Philly Style. And we have over 20 charities with us this year, and we're really excited about having them, because we just really kind of opened it up last year. We had really concentrated on 3, and they were mostly all local. Last year we opened it up, and the response was incredible. We have, I think, about 25 official charities, including Alex's Lemonade Stand, the Alzheimer's Association of Delaware Valley, Arthritis Foundation, Best Buddies, which is a really great organization that we really like a lot, City Year, Forest Scholars, Covenant House, Delaware Riverkeeper Network. I mean, I could go on and on.
That's great.
So many of them. And as I said, if we run out of entries and people can't register, they can always go on our website, Philadelphia.com, and look at any of our charities to register. PhiladelphiaMarathon.com, I'm sorry.
Right, you can go to PhiladelphiaMarathon.com, and there's a link for charity running, and you just click on that, and then you'll see a list of the icons for all the different charities. You find one that you can identify with, and then you can run the Philadelphia Marathon for them. I just ran the Boston Marathon for charity, and it was the first time I'd ever raised money for a charitable cause to run a race, and it's really rewarding. You can see your friends, your family, and other people that you work with come out and support your cause, and it gives them sort of a sense of involvement too, and without having to go out and run the 26.2.
I mean, there's the impact of these marathons. It's fascinating to me, and Melanie, the economic impact. I mean, this race must be bigger than any of the other events you do all year.
Wow.
Is that not true?
Well, I'm getting ready to do our 4th of July celebration, which is an 11th day event that kicks off next week. So
okay, okay.
I do a lot of huge events for the city, and Philadelphia Marathon is right there with our 4th of July, and the economic impact is incredible. We have an opportunity to really promote our city. As I said, we call ourselves the Best Coast City because we have a mayor who is directly involved with the marathon. He started this tradition that just kind of started by happenstance, that he came out, he was on the course for the first time, and people were running by, and he just started high-fiving people. Well, now they come to expect it.
Yeah.
We have all of these runners, and they're all running up trying to high-five the mayor.
Right. I saw him out there. I mean, he was engaged with all runners.
Oh, yes. He's very much engaged. He really enjoys the race, and we do a lot of things so that he can be engaged with the race because, again, my job really is to promote the city, and we promote the mayor along with that because it is the city. So the marathon is the tool that we use, and it's a great tool because I have to tell people, I came in, this will be my 4th marathon that I've been producing.
Right.
But this has become so much a part of my life. It's just incredible. Marathons, from what I have observed, and this economy is one of the only industries that didn't start faltering.
Right. It's great. Yeah, it's true.
It still keeps growing.
That's great.
And people are so dedicated. I've met so many people, because of people that I've met in the time that I've been doing this, there are these stories that are absolutely incredible of what people do to train and why they got into it. We started this thing on our website called Shout Out because there are people who have stories, and we want them not just to stand there, because running a marathon is incredibly intense, and finishing a marathon is such a great thing. So we have a part that says Shout Out. You can go on our website, and you can shout out people who are running. But we also, because of the mayor's high-five and because I recognize the incredible stories, there was this woman who gave a kidney to someone here in the Philadelphia area. Her name is Mary.
Wow.
She gave a kidney, and do you know she was on the field running 6 months later?
After donating? Wow.
After donating a kidney.
That hits home with me because my dad had a kidney transplant, and that's just amazing. That is fantastic.
So we created this award called Mayor's High-Five Award, and we give it to someone who has gone through challenges in order to run a marathon. And we bestowed it upon someone last year who was legally blind and actually had a connection to the city of Philadelphia by chance. So it was absolutely incredible. We did it at the opening of the marathon, and it was such a great story. This woman who had gone through so much, she had to have a partner run with her, and she was amazing, and it was just really incredible. And those are the kind of things that we look for, because that really, to me, is what tells the stories of marathoners.
Yep.
There's such heart, you guys, what you do.
There are many inspiring stories, and mine, I don't know whether it was inspiring, but I do like to talk about me, and I want to talk about.
We love hearing about Chris too.
I want to talk to you a little bit about my race, and you know, I don't know whether my story was as inspiring, but I ran one of my fastest times in 5 years there, and you know, really happy with the entire experience. And talk a little bit about the course, because last year the course, I guess, changed. And you maybe made it a little faster because you didn't have a hill at mile 13, 14?
Talk about Lemon Hill, and we took that out 2 years ago.
Okay.
But our course is relatively flat, yes.
Yep.
You're not going to find the same kind of hills in Philadelphia that you will in Chicago.
Right.
But everybody that I talk to is funny. They always say they run their personal best. And I think because it is a fast course, even when we tweak it a little bit like we did last year because we had construction on the road,
right, we
still have a flat, fast course. And it's beautiful. I mean, you run past some of the most iconic things in the world.
Yep.
The Liberty Bell and Independence Hall. This is a place where America was born. So just think about that. I know marathoners run, and they're maybe not paying attention. So we've done a few things to grab your attention to keep it interesting, because you've got to push through to get to that point, to get to the end. So our campaign this year is Best Time of Your Life.
That's great.
Yeah, last year was Push Through. The year before that it was Kick Asphalt.
I saw Kick Asphalt.
Kick Asphalt was really cool.
Yeah, so, you know, Chris, we love hearing about the story. I'd love to talk to you.
So talk about best time of your life. What does that mean to the runners in running in 2011?
Absolutely. Not only is it the best time of your life in terms of your personal best because of our flat, fast course, but you're going to have the best time of your life in our city, in Philadelphia. So that's what we're trying to convey with this campaign, and we want to hear from the runners, what do you think? We do a survey every year after the race, get feedback, and every year the percentage of any complaints have gone down incredibly, and the great people give us suggestions. Try this, we can do that, and we take all of that into consideration because we want to give them the best time of their lives.
And the best time of their life is a marathon, it's an 8K, it's a half marathon, spread out over 2 days. When does all those things happen? When all those races happen?
Well, so funny that you mentioned it. Our first race is on the 20th, and that's the Rockland 8K.
Okay.
That changed last year. All of our races were held on the Sunday, but we changed the 8K to a Saturday so that we could really grow that race, and it did. We got about more than 20% more, and we're concentrating on that distance because it's such a great distance.
Yep.
We really want to grow it and get some elite runners out there. So we're working on that this year with a few surprises along the way. So that's September 20th. We start the run at 7:30. I'm sorry, November 20th.
November. Yep. Right.
Saturday, November 20th, and we start the race at 7:30, right on Benjamin Franklin Parkway, which is absolutely incredibly beautiful. And on, we also have our kids run that day, and that's also on the main course. So we like that, and the kids really get a kick out of it. And then on Sunday, we have our full and our half. That's 21st of November. We start off with our wheelchair competition at 6:57, and then at 7 o'clock, our half and full marathon get underway.
Okay, so then you get off on the full marathon and the half marathons, and what are some of the things that the runners can look for along the way? Is there entertainment on the course? Is there, can you tell us about the water stops and the goos and?
Absolutely. When I first started, we had in 2008 10 cheer zones. There are now about 30, along with water stations along the course. So you can go any distance and find something happening somewhere, and it's always something different. We engage the, we have rock steps here, right?
Yep.
So every year, there's a rock statue at the bottom of the steps that draw people here every year. So every year we make a big shirt with our campaign on it so that runners can go up and take a picture with Rocky.
That's awesome. I didn't do that last year. That's really neat.
It's awesome. It really is. People absolutely love it. And we have a jazz band. We were trying to get bagpipers, but unfortunately they told me it's just too cold for bagpipers.
Right.
Outside to do the bagpipes. But we have a number of different things. We have DJ music. We engage the athletes at some of the colleges, because Philadelphia is a college town. And the athletes are the ones that are used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we did a challenge among schools to see which one could give us the best cheer zone. And we're doing that again. We're also engaging the hotels because they're very much a part of all of the hotels in Philadelphia. 25 hotels participate in the race, and we're trying to get at least one person from each hotel to run so that we can give a Best Hotel Award. So we're always thinking of different things.
That's great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a very fun weekend, and we try and keep it that way.
Are you guys still looking for volunteers? How can you volunteer, and what is there to do if you are a volunteer?
There's so much to do. We have a need of over 3,000 volunteers.
I'm sure.
So we have a link on our website that says volunteers. The only thing you need to do is go in there, click, and register to volunteer. And there are some volunteer guidelines that tell you can work at the expo, you can work on race day. There are 3 days that we have to cover entirely. And this is a year-round thing. As you said, we're probably the only race that is it's really the only race that's municipally owned.
Yep.
So, and it's, there's other things that we have to do in this job, but we start this immediately after it ends. So it's a year-round labor of love. My staff just loves the marathon. We have all invested so much of ourselves in it because it's just such a wonderful event. We really enjoy doing it.
So can you tell me any stories, any challenge? I like specific stories of challenges you've come across, maybe positive. Sometimes the negative stories are really interesting as well. Anything that's happened over the last, you said you're the director for the last 4 years, that's happened that's of note?
Let's see. Well, the main challenge was having an executive director who knew nothing about and trying to figure out, okay, you know, there was a lot of people basically don't know why a city should own a marathon. And I say, why not?
Right.
Taking this event with 16,000 runners that people had heard about, okay? Some people had heard about it. And then there were the people who kept thinking, well, you know, they don't know what they're doing. It's a difficult kind of situation because whoever the mayor is appoints the person who is going to do the marathon. So I took it upon myself to learn more about the marathon, and the person before me was an actual runner. Mm-hmm. So she brought her knowledge. We switched from T-shirts to the tech shirts, and so when I came, she had already set up enough information for me to be able to take it and run with it. But who knows? After me, who would be sitting here doing this? So the challenge is to make sure that this race continues to grow and that it always offers an opportunity to be of a benefit to the city, but also that it's a great race for the runners who come here to run it. So I think our next challenge, because we don't want to change the course, that's one thing I get from runners all the time.
Yep.
They love the course. It's flat, it's fast, it's beautiful. We tweak it here and there because certain things come up in the city that make you have to make little changes. But basically the course remains the same. But that course is not going to be able to support 40,000 runners. So
right.
What do you do to grow it? How do you continue to make sure that you're still getting people? And how much further can we go with the race without changing it? Well, it's the time to start trying to focus internationally, to bring more international people to the race. Right now, we get runners from 40 countries.
Wow.
And mostly Canada and Mexico. So we need to concentrate in some of those areas to bring more people over. You say you bring about 1,000 people from your area.
Yep.
All 50 states are participants in this race. So we have to keep looking at it. So to get back to your question, the challenge is to continue to grow the race and make sure that the administration is engaged in the race so that they understand that whoever is sitting in my seat years from now, that this race continues to bring in the best for Philadelphia.
Well, you've done a great job. I mean, and I think we can tell that you may come from a different marketing background, maybe, and you've obviously grown the race and kept a lot of the the core parts of the race that a runner would enjoy. The iconic views along the course, the flat, fast. I mean, maybe that's probably what I like the most. But there really is a lot of positives that she's kept.
Yeah, runners love the flat, fast courses. Did the runners' input have anything to do with removing that hill or anything, or was that just something you guys decided to do on your own?
Well, it's a little bit of both. But I used to always tell runners at expos, I would say, once you get up the hill, it's what propels you as you
Right.
There's always a downhill for every uphill, right?
That's right.
The runners hate uphills, but we like the downhills.
Oh, yeah, and it was very close to the edge. So, it was a good story. But, yeah, we had to do some tweaking, and they were doing some things over at Lemon Hill, which is what we call it. And so we removed it from the race. But there are still a few things. We're thinking that we might have to have what's the Boston Hill that everybody's talking about? The
Heartbreak Hill.
Yeah, nothing more favorable for runners than putting a big hill at miles 18 to 21. It's actually kind of a funny story because I was up in Philly a couple years ago, and it happened to be the Philly Marathon weekend, and I almost kind of just started getting into marathons around that time. I was up there visiting my buddy who was in town from Florida, so that was going on. We were trying to get out and see the Liberty Bell and see all the stuff, and it really did occur to me that Philadelphia has just it's a lot like DC. It's a very historical place. Obviously, there's a lot of historical things to go see and do. You could literally spend the 3 days of that entire weekend going out and doing these kinds of things. I'm also kind of a foodie, so there's a lot of good restaurants that I found up in Philadelphia as well. And plus you have your old Philadelphia cheesesteaks. I mean, what are some of the other types of activities that you kind of encourage people that aren't familiar with Philadelphia to go out and see and do?
Well, thanks for asking that, because that was one of the things that I really wanted to push as a promotional piece for the marathon. In our expo, we have Temple University has a hospitality program, so we use Temple students to man the booth, and they tell you all kinds of things that you can do in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So visit the Liberty Bell. We just opened the President's House directly across from the Liberty Bell Pavilion and Independence Hall. We have the National Constitution Center. We have a world-class Philadelphia Museum of Art. And there's always some exhibit going on that's absolutely incredible. we have, and you mentioned it, we are a food city. You can go to different restaurants every night and have an incredible experience. It's just amazing, these restaurants that just keep popping up, because everybody is drawn here because cost of living is decent. And you can open up a place, and in almost any area, you can go from our center city area to our Germantown, Chestnut Hill, to Manioc, and really get your food on.
And I love that part of it. Hey, Melanie, we got about 2 minutes left here. Chris and I are thrilled that you were able to join us on the show and everything. You guys, they're out there watching here in Washington, D.C. If you're watching, Philly is a very good, convenient place to go watch. To run a marathon. It's not that far. Like she said, there's plenty of entries you can get in there, and if you can't get an entry because the race fills up, you can go to run one of their charity things. Again, you can get all the information you need there at PhiladelphiaMarathon.com. With a couple minutes left here, Melanie, is there anything that we missed out on that we need to make sure to tell all the viewers about the upcoming race or anything for this upcoming fall?
Just that we still have entries available. Go to PhiladelphiaMarathon.com, sign up, come see our city. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, that's great. Chris can personally attest to that race. Thanks again, Melanie, for joining us on Gotta Get Running. We'll make sure that everybody goes to PhiladelphiaMarathon.com and checks out your awesome race. It's been great having you on the show. You've just packed it. In 27 minutes, I feel like we got 3 hours worth of information about your race.
Yeah, and I reiterate, it really is a fun course that you have a number of distractions along the way, which I think is important. That are fun distractions, and it was never really too crowded too, which was really great. Even though you would think an event of that size would be. And I thought that was.
It's never that crowded in the 245 group, though, is it? 244. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, Chris is a good runner. He loved the race. He told me all about it. He ran a negative split up there.
It was great.
He did all these great things. So now I got to get it out there and try to run at my IT band. It wouldn't hold up last year.
Well, I think I'm doing the 8K this year, so I can enjoy the food and the sights, because that's Saturday morning at 7:30, and then I'll enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Well, we'll have to go up there and make a weekend of it. That'd be fun. Hey, Melanie, thanks again for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, guys. I hope to see you this year.
Okay, we will.
Absolutely. We'll see you in a few months, and thanks for joining us. And we will see you guys next time on Gotta Get Running. Goodbye, everybody.